They want to begin broadcasting. Members of the Board of Trustees Committee on Fiscal Affairs, please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson Ferrer.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Mojica. I think he's muted. I see him, but I don't think he heard us. We'll come back. Trustee Sunshine? Not yet. Okay. Trustee Berger?
Present.
Trustee Cortez Vasquez? Okay, not yet. Professor Verzani?
Present.
Professor Benton?
Present.
Timothy Hunter is the student rep, but he is not going to be able to join us today. But we are joined by a new student alternate, Jonathan Hannon.
Present.
And I think Ken Sunshine just joined us.
Yes, hi, present.
Hi, Ken. Great. And Trustee Mojica, we're going to mark you present. I think you were muted before we did attendance. Great.
Yep.
So we have a quorum. The Public Committee on Fiscal Affairs is now called to order pursuant to the New York State Legislature's recent extension of the suspension of required in-person meetings under the Open Meetings Law. This meeting is being held remotely via video conference with access to the public session available on the CUNY Board of Trustees website. A copy of the calendar agenda of items is also available online at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. And any additional items may be added during the meeting. And as a reminder, please mute so we can ensure that everyone can hear. I will now take a roll call attendance from members of the Chancellery and other invited guests. Members of the Chancellery and other invited guests, please respond present when you hear your name. Chancellor Matos Rodriguez.
Present.
General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis.
Present.
Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Hector Batista.
Presente.
Interim University Provost, Daniel Lemons.
Present.
Senior Vice Chancellor, Matthew Sapienza.
Present.
Vice Chancellor, Richard White.
Present.
Vice Chancellor, Brian Cohn.
Present.
President Carol Mason, the COPS liaison.
Present.
Great. Christina Chiappa, Deputy Chief Financial Officer.
Present.
Catherine Abada, University Executive Budget Director.
She's not attending today.
She's not going to come today. Okay. Martin Sterla,
Present.
Chief Procurement Officer. Hi, Martin.
Hey.
President Frank Wu from Queens College.
Yep, I'm here.
Terrific. Troy Hahn, the Chief Information Officer at Queens College.
Present.
Great. Jennifer Jarvis, the VP of Student Affairs and Enrollment at Queens College. Okay, not yet. Joseph Logren, Chief Financial Officer at Queens College.
Present. Thank you.
Sonny Burke, Procurement Director at Queens College.
Present.
Terrific. It's all you, Freddie.
Thanks, Gail. Now let's turn to the item requiring a vote today. Action item 1A is the approval of the minutes from the November 22nd, 2021 meeting. I'll move the item. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll have a vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. The minutes are approved unanimously. I'd like now to address action item 1B, the policy calendar. Item B1A is a resolution to authorize a contract with CompuLink Technologies to provide help desk subscription services. Queens College is seeking approval to expand its use of help desk technology services from Freshworks Incorporated, which was first implemented in March 2021 on a limited basis. The college has selected CompuLink Technologies, an MWBE value-added reseller of Freshworks Incorporated, to purchase this software from. Queens College is seeking a contract of up to 5 years with CompuLink Technologies for an amount not to exceed $1,054,400. President Wu and his team are available to provide further background on this item if you wish. In the meantime, I'll move the item. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing no questions, we'll now vote. Please only respond
I have
again.
discussion on this item.
Oh, yes. Mr.
So,
Hannon, please.
looking at the resolution, I saw that in the past year, the contract was evaluated at $71,086. But for the 5-year contract, we have it evaluated at an amount not to exceed $1,054,400. So I have a question regarding when it comes to the evaluation of this contract, are we expecting to actually spend 3 times the amount we were in the previous year annually in the past 5 years? And if not, where does this extra evaluation on the contract come?
I'll speak to this, and then we've brought the whole team with technical expertise. Yes, this is a huge expansion, and it's all for the students. We've designed a workflow to respond to student queries that's entirely based on usage of this package. And we know that we really have got to do better in our responsiveness to student queries, whether it's on financial aid or whatever. And this is a system that allows those queries to be processed, that tracks them all the way through, that gives us the data. It is crucial to the operation. So this isn't just a continuation, it's a massive expansion of usage of this package, all for the benefit of the students. The sole purpose of this is to better provide student services.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, President Wu. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I believe we're ready for a vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. This item is unanimously approved. Item B2A is a resolution to authorize a renewal purchase to maintain access to McAfee Corporation products and services. McAfee is an antivirus and computer protection products, and computer protection products have been a core component of the university's cybersecurity toolset since 2011. The McAfee tools and related services help protect against the ever-evolving malware and cybersecurity threats, and includes McAfee supports resources dedicated to the university. The university is seeking approval to license McAfee products, services, and support to an authorized reseller for up to 3 annual renewals pursuant to a New York State Office of General Services contract, which shall not exceed a total of $2.5 million for 3 annual renewals. Vice Chancellor Brian Cohen is here and available to provide further background on this item if that is needed. In the meantime, I will move the item. Is there a second?
Berger, second.
Is there any discussion on the item? Well, then, apart from the fact that nobody uses McAfee anymore, at least at this meeting, let's have a vote, shall we? Again, please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. This item is approved. Item B2B is a resolution to revise the university tuition and fee manual policy on withholding transcripts due to financial holds. The university's current policy is to withhold transcripts if a student has an unpaid tuition and fee balance. During the pandemic, this policy was temporarily suspended in order to assist students in their pursuit of pursuing their education and or seek employment. The university is requesting that this change now be made permanent, beginning with the spring 22 semester. I now call on Senior Vice Chancellor and CFO Matt Sapienza to provide further background on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. We're very pleased to bring this back to the committee, and I say back because, as the chairman mentioned, we did come to a meeting several months ago, and we're very grateful that this committee approved the temporary lifting of the transcript withholding policy for the fall 21 semester as a way to help students as they face the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. At that meeting, the chancellor said that we would bring this back to have this policy made permanent. And I just want to really recognize the chancellor. This was his vision back several months ago as a way to not only help students through the pandemic, but as a way to provide more equity to our students and help our students who need their transcripts to find employment and for other needs. And so this was all the chancellor's vision, and we're happy to bring it here tonight and have your consideration for it. And so with that, don't want to put the chancellor on the spot. I want to ask him if he wants to say anything about this.
Thank you, Matt. And so I like it when it says the chancellor's vision. Anybody who disagrees, right? Throw me under the bus. But again, this is something that we had discussed prior to the pandemic as a way to be equitable in the way that we approach working with the students who have financial obligations with the university. I want to make sure that we are clear that this does not mean that we cease to work with the students to be able to collect those debts, right? I think there was some confusion at one point. We will continue to use the different mechanisms that the campuses have used to be able to work with those students and do payment plans and work with them to be able to collect that money. But we felt that the practice of withholding a transcript, withholding something that you had earned, right? And also something that could be a door for you getting the job that would allow you to do a payment plan to get back to us and pay us, that would allow you to be able to pursue an additional degree, was sort of inconsistent with our ethos as a university. So we thought that the pandemic was the right time to introduce this, along with so many of the other measures that this board put forward to support the students using the stimulus money to get all those students 2,000 plus paid with the tuition and fees that they had in debt. So it was part of that package, but we think that it's time to make it the permanent policy of the university with the blessing of this board. So thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. Accordingly, there is an explanation of one paragraph at the end of the resolution, which makes this even clearer and makes the university's position even clearer. Should the committee decide to advance this to the trustees. I'll move the item. May I have a second?
And then second.
Is there any discussion on this item other than the one we have already had? Now we'll vote. Please only respond again.
Did Henry have a question? Do
sorry.
you have a question?
Before we vote, on the second question, which is an related issue, how do the colleges work with students who want to re-enroll who have outstanding fees?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Trustee Bergen. Thank you for raising it. Currently, the biggest tool that the colleges have when students owe balances is that students are not able to register for a future semester if they owe balances. So that's usually the point where colleges will then start to work with students. Colleges have a lot of tools in their toolbox in terms of having students go to the financial aid office and help them find opportunities for financial aid. try to work with students to join CUNY's. We have a payment plan that students can pay their bill throughout the semester and don't have to pay all at once. For our community colleges, we have our one-stop centers that students can go to try to find financial benefits that maybe they are not aware that they have. So there's a lot of things that colleges will work on with students to try to get those balances satisfied. Obviously we want our students to be retained, with keeping in mind that the conversation that we just had a few minutes ago, making sure that the balances are satisfied. So college financial aid offices and the student affairs offices are the ones who will coordinate with the bursars and try to help the students as much as possible.
Trustee Berger, does that satisfy your?
Well, I think it's the start of a longer conversation, but not for this meeting. And I see that there are two other people who have comments to make, so let them, let's move on to that.
Next question?
Yes, I just wanted to acknowledge that over my time at CUNY in the past 9 years, I've seen many students that have had issues with actually trying to get jobs due to the withholding of transcripts, the withholding of diplomas. And I'm glad to see that this is a permanent change, because students really do need these materials in order to be able to get the jobs that they need to be able to pay back the debts. And I thank Chancellor for acknowledging this and for making sure that this is something that we move forward with.
Well, I certainly second that emotion. Is there any other comment?
I had a question. So this has been a live experiment for about a year now. Has there been any increase in the non-payment of graduating seniors, because the withholding of future registration only applies to non-graduating, or does not apply to seniors that would be graduating? And if there's been a spike in that, there might be some modification that would be suggested.
Yeah, Professor Rosani, it's a good question, but we haven't seen that specifically in graduating seniors. We'll continue to monitor that and drill down to see if there are any patterns there. It's very often, just referring to transcripts, very often that students who are not graduating seniors need transcripts as well. And so a lot of students who aren't seniors still requesting transcripts. And just to give the committee some background as Professor Rosani points out, we've had this experiment now for this semester in the fall 21 semester. So there's been over 6,000 transcripts that have been released for students that have financial holds to date. So it's helped. I think that's a pretty significant number in terms of going back to the point that our student trustee, Mr. Hannon, made about helping students find jobs or be able to apply to grad school or things like that. Having those transcripts available to them, I think it's been pretty helpful, and that the data that we have to date is showing that we've had a pretty significant response. You're on mute, Mr. Chair.
That's better. Sorry. If there's no one else, we're ready for a vote. So again, please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. This item passes unanimously. With no more items on the policy agenda, I'd like to address Section 2, information items. There's only one information item on the agenda, and that's item 2A, the Fiscal Matters Information Report. And to give us more insight into that is Senior Vice Chancellor and CFO Matt Sapienza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Most of the items that are included in this month's Fiscal Matters Information Report are related to partnerships that our colleges have with the labor unions here in New York. The CUNY School of Labor and Urban Studies, obviously, this is a major component of what they do and what they have done historically. And so a lot of these partnerships call for the union members to have tuition waivers in order for them to have the access to public higher education here at CUNY. And so you could see from the report, we have the School of Labor and Urban Studies has partnerships with District Council 37, IATSE, which represents our theater workers at CUNY, the Communication Workers of America, CWA. So those are outlined in the report, and these are things that the School of Labor and Urban Studies has been doing historically. So you can see the amounts that they're projecting in terms of estimated tuition waivers. Similar, Lehman College has a similar item on this report for a partnership that they have with Local 1199 for the fall semester. And then the last item is for New York City College of Technology for new material fees for their vision care technology classes. These are materials that the students in those in that program will receive, ophthalmic toolkits, for which they'll utilize throughout their time in that program, which is over several semesters. And so the fee is to pay for the cost of those toolkits and those books. So that's the quick summary of the items that are in this month's Fiscal Matters Information Report.
Are there any questions on Matt's summary or the report in its entirety? Hearing none, and we've run out of agenda items. So I'll move we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
And hearing no objection, we're adjourned. So long, everybody. See you
Stay
soon.
healthy.
You too.
everyone.
all.
Thanks, everyone.
Everybody.
They